Hello guys, what is up? It is your boy Omega SMG. So a while ago I put out this video on how to mix drums and how to make them punch, and looking back at that video, I don't like it that much anymore. Um, Now I'm not saying it's my worst video ever, but I am saying that I totally could have done better. And now that I have the knowledge, figured I might as well do a new video on it. I'm not gonna delete that video because I need all them sweet views. But I can at least do a little bit of a redux. So I'm gonna adjust my microphone, let you get all of the bass from my voice as I eat the mic. No, I'm not that kind of guy. Um, I'm actually gonna adjust the gain a tiny bit. Yeah, I do it on the spot. I don't really care that much. So this is something that I mixed from a subscriber. If you want to see that video, I released it a few days ago. It's a long one, but you can get a lot of good stuff out of it. So let's listen to the drums on it, because these are pretty good drums. Yes, I must go forward a bit. I'm gonna get this in a loop so that you guys can really hear it. Okay, so we have all of our drums here, and you can hear them. They're pretty good drums. Um, so let's go ahead and start off with where exactly you want to start. So before you do anything, before you mix anything, before you go crazy and just destroy everything, make everything sound sexy, you want to find some good samples. Now, this guy, the guy who sent this in, he used some great samples. Honestly, I'm quite impressed by the quality of these samples. Just listen to them. So that was completely dry, and it was still pretty good. That's really what you should be aiming for. Whenever you're picking out drum samples, you shouldn't be picking out something crappy and saying, "I'll just send this to my engineer to fix in post," because that's the way you get your drums screwed up. Like, when it comes to making a beat, it's all about, you want to make sure that you have perfect drums for the vibe you're going for, whether it's like the punch level or how soft they are. You want to get it as solid as possible. So if you're just gonna go and download the crappiest set of drums you can get, use some CR78 drums, anything like that, stop. Just stop. Go somewhere with better drums. R slash drum kits has some good stuff. You can even get the stuff off the Busy Works Beats website, because he always has some pretty solid drums in his kits, and you can use those. But first thing you need to do, pick good samples. Now, after you pick good samples, you want to make sure that you get a mix. You want to make them sound interesting. You don't want dry drums, because dry drums are like the sign of new guy on the block. So let's start off with the most important one. So you can go without your wood block, your percussion, and your hi-hat. You can just go with a kick and a snare, and you'll be fine. The groove will still be there. So this is it completely dry without any effects. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the kick first, because this is one of the bigger differences. So this is what we did. Put an instance of FabFilter Pro C2 on it, and then EQ. Cut out the high end and boost the low end. So let's go ahead and get a good listen for this compression. I'm going to go ahead and mute this compressor and put on a new instance of it so that you guys can get a good listen for it. So this is one compressor, and then this is the stock version of it. So whenever we're compressing a kick, this is what we need to be listening for. I'm going to go ahead and just solo it so that you guys can focus in on it more. I, of course, mix this all in context, but we're not mixing this all in context right now. So let's listen to this. So here's the first thing I do. I will lower that threshold all the way, and then turn up the gain really high so that you can hear the transient coming through. So that is, one second. I feel like I'm being a big dummy. In fact, I'm almost, that's why. So as you can hear, it sounds like trash right now. There's a reason we don't have the threshold all the way down there. However, I do this so that I can get the attack and the release, because then it lets you listen to what exactly you're getting out of it. So let's just dial this in until we have the desired level of punch. So that's a nice click. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to slowly bring up that threshold until it's what I want. I also have a hard knee on it. I tend to have hard knees on my kicks, so I also have my gain way too high. But in fact, what do I have for this? So 4.88. So this compressor, what it does is it's taking the punch from the start of the sound, and it's just making it harder, bringing it out more. So now let's go ahead and try it without the compressor. And then with just has the groove in there. It has the punch. So then this EQ. So this really shouldn't be too hard. This is an EQ that you should be doing along with 808 so that they mesh together. Like my 808, I have it boosted back here and dipped over here, and it makes it so that it has more beef, and along with meshing with 808 better. So this is what it sounds like with that, and it sounds very nice. So this is with 808. Okay, so yeah, sounds very nice. So let's keep on going. So let's move on to our snare. With the snare, it's Pro Q, Pro C. I just cut out the sub here and then added a compressor on top of that. So this is a very similar one, except I had the attack pulled a bit further so that's able to get more punch in there. Then the release pulled down so that's not getting the tail. Then I pulled up the ratio. This one, it's pretty much the same tactic I use with the kick, but different. And then we have our clap. Actually, let's go ahead and let you A/B this. So with the effects, without, it just sounds a bit fatter like that. well, I would have loved to put Devil Lock on it, my favorite plugin. It didn't call for that, so I didn't do it. Now we get on to our clap, so that's going to layer over the snare. So let's listen to it solo first, and then we'll bring in the snare with it. So it's already a very nice sample. So now let's start bringing in beautiful, beautiful plugins. So I have this on almost every single track except for the kick and the 808. Just cuts out the sub. You don't need it. Then on top of that, I have greatest plugin of all time, Devil Lock Deluxe. So pretty much what I did was I brought down the mix and I pulled up the crunch a tiny bit. Now it's a bit of distortion parallel, so it's adding more harmonics to it. It's making it a fatter sound, but it doesn't sound distorted. That's the key. So let's listen to it. It, like, that tail end it kind of sounds distorted, but not really. It has the right sound. So then on top of that, I put a compressor. Yeah, I know Devil Lock and distortion both are compression, but it's not the compression I want. I want something that'll let that punch through. So this is where it gets a bit weird. So I have the attack pretty fast, which when you want punch is usually not what you go for, and that's what it called for. It trapped in that transient the best. In fact, let's pull down the threshold all the way, 21.03. That's all I need to know. So listen to it. It's what trapped it in the best. And on top of that, I have an EQ, so I'm cutting out the low end, and then I'm making a dip in here. It's a very light dip, but that's just so that it clashes a bit better with the snare and all the melodies in there. So let's listen to it with the snare. Then on top of that, I wanted some more high end, so I brought in Dynamic Spectrum Mapper. This is like my cheat code for high end. So we have our kick and our snare down. How long is this video? I don't know. It's probably pretty long. So I'm going to try and speed it up. So then we have our hi-hats. So hi-hats, I like to do. First thing you should do with your hi-hats is you should take an EQ and you should cut out as much low end as possible, because there's still going to be that noise there, but you don't need it for your hi-hat, so it's just going to be taking up volume in a room in your mix. Don't let it be a big fatty. Cut out the fat. Then on top of that, I put Decimort on it. It's a very light instance of Decimort, just to give it a tiny bit more character. I feel like a big dummy. It's very subtle. And on top of that, I put a chorus with a very low mix. So wide, barely chorus, and then with a very low mix. So it just fills out the mix a tiny bit more. I pretty much did the exact same thing on open hi-hat. And then we have our percussion. And so I have this panned left and right so that it's not taking up as much room in the center. I listen to it in mono. It sounds fine. But this is how I mix these. So EQ, I just have it so it cuts out the lows, boosts the highs. That is bad EQ practice, and it's ugly. Don't do that unless the mix calls for it. Pepsi. Then have a compressor. This is a very high ratio, and yeah, I mean, same procedure. I just made sure that I pulled down that threshold all the way and then just listened until I had what I wanted from the compression. So then we have an EQ, cut on the low end and then boost the crap out of the high end. Then Decimort to add some more character. So it went from this, very quiet sound, to this. So it has a tiny bit more punch there. Then, of course, I added a compressor, high attack, low release, then pretty high ratio. Then this is what all of those drums sound like together. I forgot. I don't think the open hi-hat. Oh, it does. So, yeah, this video is probably going on for a bit too long, but you guys are still going to watch it most likely. If you like this video, want more stuff like this, like smash that like button. If you hated this video with a burning passion, or if you hate me with a burning passion, I don't discriminate. Smash that dislike button, leave a hate comment. It just makes me rank higher in search engine results. Yeah, this is your boy Omega SMG signing out.